Hopefully this time I will make it. Haha! Yes! Freaking yes! I have a backpack! It's like my prayers were been answered. Yeah, whatever. I wanted to do that real quick. Heh. Awesome, they're scared of me. I like that. Feeble, frail, barefoot. I'm his worst nightmare. As you step into a clearing, you finally see the source of that eastern glow. It's a city larger than any you've ever seen. Skyscrapers and their bigger brothers arcology stand shoulder to shoulder, casting their glittering lights into the sky. Hovering lights flit around the super towers like fireflies. A massive wall encircles their base, with armed buttresses like glowing points on a crown. And radiating out from that wall, a shanty town of crumbling buildings, shacks, and tarp lean-tos. Relief at the sight of civilization almost overtakes you until you realize you still have to make it there. Who are you asking, Zorphus? Dude, if I can't make it there at this point, I'm gonna be pissed. Navigating the twisty maze of shacks and tarp shelters, Detroit's massive walls stand as a constant backdrop to the east. Easily half a dozen stories high and probably almost as thick, the city walls are an impressive sight to behold. Armed towers, bristling with surveillance rays, stand at regular intervals, keeping watch over the sprawl and likely the city within. Before you, giant vidscreens on the three gatehouses flash instructions about pass requirements and threat levels, as flocks of people stream in and out of the gates. You take your place in the line on the right, with the others entering the city. When you reach the front of the line, a sinking feeling overcomes you. Heavily armed guards in full combat armor are checking attendees with some sort of scanning device. You're pretty sure that whatever these other folk have to get in, you're missing it. When it's your turn, the guard stops you and turns to a monitor installed on the wall. Message reads, "Device not detected. Entrance denied." With the efficiency and compassion of an assembly line worker, he directs you away from the line back outside. Unfortunately, getting entrance to the city may be trickier than just showing up. Back outside, he crossed the muddy square and stopped to survey the area. Where do you go now? Would anyone in the sprawl know about the cryo facility? You're startled when you notice a man has been watching you. He's wearing a long brown coat and matching hat and leans on a walking stick. From this distance, you can almost see the glint of his eyes below the trilby's brim, although it's probably just your imagination. He takes his time approaching you, and as he nears, you notice there's a heavy maculage on his face. It reminds you of one of those old portraits you'd see in a history textbook. "Folks call me Hatter," he says matter-of-factly. "I think we may be able to help each other. Come with me." Hatter's office is in the husk of one of those flophouse hotels you see crammed between the high-rises in a busy city. It even has the old marquee hanging precariously from the cornerstones. Several floors up, armed guards watch over the street and missing sections of the building. Hatter acknowledges the men at the door and leads you through a surprisingly clean lobby to an old-fashioned elevator. "I have a client," he starts, pausing for the cage to rattle shut, "who collects heirlooms." He speaks louder over the motor. He compensates well. Well enough, in fact, that I'd be willing to part with a DMC visitor's pass in exchange. The elevator clunks to a halt and the door rattles open, revealing a dark room lit by vid screens and old lamps. Stepping off the elevator, it feels like you've walked into a control center built into an antique store. Baubles and relics crowd the walls and tabletops, while video screens and computer consoles cast a bluish tint on the handful of armed guards. Hatter crosses the room to sit at a low, broad desk facing the elevator. There's a lake. He pulls an old worn road atlas from a desk drawer, about a day's walk northwest of here. Inside a building there is a silver urn. He pages through the atlas to a map of Michigan. My guess is that you know a thing or two about getting around out there, and maybe this could be your ticket into the DMC. He pauses to look up at you. Interested? Now, I've never accepted this quest because I've read into this quest, and it is much farther than a day's walk. Maybe if you've got athletic and good equipment and like the ability to sprint, it might be a day's walk, but that's not me. So I'm going to go with trapping. Quite literally, it's a trap! Something doesn't add up. You're no seasoned mercenary, but you're sure any fixer worth his salt is really careful who he contracts work for. And visitor's pass can't be cheap, so there's no way this is just a cakewalk test. Plus, Hatter approached you. Nobody walks into a town out of nowhere and gets that kind of welcome. Something doesn't wash here, and it's making you edgy. "I don't like this," you say, stepping short of sounding threatening. "Sounds like someone's trying to set me up." That gets Hatter's attention, and he looks up at you. Hear the creak of leather as a guard tenses. He says, leaning his back in his creaky chair. "Turns out maybe you are worth the extra attention you seem to have garnered." He looks down at a blank spot on his desk, considering something a moment, and starts talking at it. Your, let's call him, employer, had a particular interest in you. He leans forward and starts interacting with his security console. Interested enough to open this urn contract with the express instructions that it only be assigned to you. Said I'd find you trying to enter the DMC. Said he'd front the cost of the visitor's pass if I got it to you. Got you to do it. He finishes a keystroke and gestures to the wall monitors. One of the monitors switches to a view of this room with a cycling time code in the lower corner. After a few seconds of fast forwarding, it switches to real-time playback. There, standing where you are now, a black mass about the size of a man talks with Hatter. The details seems to be glitchy, as if there's some dark color static distorting the signal, but only around the figure. "What's with the censoring?" you ask. "Dunno," he says. "Look normal in person. Must be some sort of EMF interference." The discussion is short, punctuated by the figure handing Hatter a small object and then leaving. "As a rule, I don't disclose client info like this," he stops the video, "but you seem like a decent type. More to the point, resourceful, and while money talks, I'll take a competent operative over cash any day. He reaches into a drawer and pulls out a small black wristband. The pass is yours. I'll keep my ear to the ground for any info on this Reaper fellow and let you know. And hey, he says before letting go of it, maybe you come around again when you're looking for some more work. So it took me the longest time to figure out how to actually get in the DMC once I had this thing. That's going to blow your mind, but this is a wristband. Coincidentally enough, it goes on your wrist. Blew my mind once I figured it out. I want to do myself a favor and sell real quick. The junk market. As you navigate the winding alleys of DMC sprawl, you encounter a huge structure fashioned of shipping containers. Throngs of people enter and exit the structure through a doorway on one side. Inside, you can see a thriving bazaar where people trade scavenged items in the light of 1,000 lanterns and bug zappers. The air is thick with sweat, smoke, and the smell of barbecue and spices. This is the sprawl's notorious junk market. Just sell, drop stuff. To buy, pick things up. This is how you get money. And why I brought this entire buttload of junk. And if you sell something by mistake, well, great news. You can just pick it right back up. It's totally awesome. Hope someone buys those and dies, because it'd be hilarious. Oh, and if you break enough stuff, you can just buy an entry bracelet. Nobody will notice. I'm not going to sell any of my food though, because food is rare in this game when you're looking for it. Food and medicine at least. I'm going to empty this out, and one thing to note is you do sell things at the same cost you buy them for, so if something pops over there, don't worry about it, just buy it back. You won't lose any money at all. So I'm probably going to toss that into... I don't give a flying who's it about Zolpidem. I'm not even sure what it's for, but I do care about amoxicillin and painkillers. So if I get an infection, amoxicillin will knock that stuff out. Now, ammo is where we're going to make a lot of money selling stuff. Because honestly, you're only really going to carry about one type of gun at a time. Maybe two if you've got a pistol. And me personally, I prefer rifles, much more accurate. And if someone gets close, it can be used as a melee weapon by smacking him in the face with the butt of the rifle. Yeah, I think I tried it once. That sounds right. It's probably a sleeping pill. Actually, I'm sure it is. Unfortunately, I don't have insomnia, so not really a concern with me. Sometimes you'll even find ranged weapons on sale here, which is great. I'll take that real quick, in case I find a rifle without one. I don't think there's anything else I want to grab. I haven't seen one yet. Let me pull up the change log real quick. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. I'm not seeing anything about pistols, so I don't believe so. I do not think they're implemented yet. Which basically means there's no reason to carry around any sort of 45 ammo. And I don't have a shotgun, so the 12 gauge ammo is kind of worthless to me. Now, I've got enough money though. I'm going to buy these. So I do have hacking, so I don't know, maybe there's information I can pull off the laptop later or something. You can see though I've got a pretty full kit here. And cured meat, even though I could make it myself, lasts very long. Now to enter the city. I've already seen this one. At the front of the line, the guard motions you closer. A moment of pregnant silence precedes a satisfying chirp and the monitor flashes. Visitor pass, November 6, Mike, Alpha Alpha, 10816. Authorized. The guard ushers you forward and you begin down a long stretch of empty corridor lined with harsh xenon lighting. Beyond the opening at the other end, you see throngs of activity and the flicker of a busy signage eclipsed by passing people. The changelog is on bluebottlegames.com on the front page. There's no direct changelog. It's more like, this is what he added in 0.81, and 0.82 was a fix to 0.81 that changed a couple serious errors. So I think it's safe to assume that 0.82 is 9.82 and or 0.982 is just a less buggy version of 0.981. And here we have Detroit. Yeah! I survived the trip. I got $700 to my name. Awesome. Let's hit the bank real quick so I can go over this one really quick. Blah 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 blah. I'm not reading all these. I'll go horse. I'm willing to meet the mic so I can drink some stuff. Then we'll enter the booth, confirm. I'm going to ask about the Geiges Cryo Facility account. Show her my bracelet. She indicates a brightly illustrated placard on the wall depicting overwhelmingly inoffensive young people conducting transactions in an unnaturally happy fashion. I did actually wait for the teller to leave and hack the computer once. Don't do that, you get banned from the city. Also, don't threaten the hacker. Because, well, don't threaten the teller. It's also bad juju. Red Gnome and its exception, an already exceptional city, situated on a busy corner in Gate 11's Neon Alley. The single-story, streamlined diner defies the densely packed high-rises, elevated roads around it. In fact, several adjoining buildings seem to grow over the diner, using the precious space above its roof. I'm guessing this is where you got ran out. Biggie 55E. I'm not even sure that's how you say your name. I'm not horribly hungry here, so I'm going to go with combo number 2. Ah, Big Jesse. Okay, I gotcha. Sorry, I'm reading this at like 2 feet distance. But yeah. It is what it is. I'm not even sure how long I've been recording now. Below some unintelligible scribbling. You pay for the meal, then a thought occurs to you. Do people still tip? Yeah, I'll tip. What, 20%? Damn. Off to the health clinic. An on-site augmentation clinic. Unfortunately, I don't have nearly enough to afford that, but I really want to eventually. Now, this will help you a lot if you're having issues in a certain area. This, if I recall, will completely rehydrate and feed you, and I don't think it fluctuates a whole lot based on the cost. This will mend you. Honestly not sure what this does. I think it covers almost everything, and I'm not sure on the blood transfusion either. This is for like if you're freezing and you just really need to be fixed. I'm gonna go upstairs because that's where all the cool stuff happens. Fortunately, I can't actually afford any of this yet. Used cheat engine to alter your monies. Bought everything. That's horrible. It's no fun. Where's the sense of progression at? I'll be back here shortly. And let's see if they change this. Go down to the concrete forest apartments. Arriving at the apartments, you immediately see the resemblance. Towering structures stand at regular intervals like giant artificial trees, crisscrossing laundry lines, string lights, and contra code balcony modifications to complete the illusion. Below the ground is an organic patchwork of community gardens and trash heaps, gutted husks of cars and playgrounds, those who call it the forest home, and those who sleep in its shadow. It feels a bit like a street fair collided with a refugee camp in the ghetto. That's hilarious. Step into the block and start looking around. Oh, this is the new stuff for .982. This was not here in the last version I played. So this is all new. I got no clue what I'm doing here. So, there's a canteen truck strategically positioned curbside near the main walk. People are lined up at the illuminated side window in a mixture of steam and smoke stream from its openings. Nearby, the music booms from where a crowd is gathered. It's all bobbing shoulders and legs from here, but you just see a car's hatchback sticking up from near the center. One of the towers has a C-store at ground level. A lonely few are inside, but it doesn't seem very popular. And there's the ubiquitous knockoff vendor barking at passerbys. $48? Damn. Let's go look at the crowd. The sidewalk is vibrating with bass as you approach, and the scene begins to make a bit more sense. A wide-body metallic red hatchback is parked near the center, its doors and hatch wide open to expose an array of lights, speakers, and subs. You can almost feel the air move with the beat. Meanwhile, b-boys are taking turns, mixing moves and styles both familiar and strange. It astounds you how the human body can do these things, how humans still push the boundaries of an art form older than you can imagine. The high, positive energy feels so foreign after days in the wild. Everything out there seems to be forgotten in this hot bath of sound and energy. You stick around a few moments more, soaking up raw culture, and turn back to the matters at hand. Alright, let's hit the C-store, I'm curious. In major towers like this, you often find a convenience store on ground level, like what one find at gas stations for work in an emergency, but nothing for which you dedicate a visit. Cannot sell here though, but they have water. Wolverine Black Whiskey. I said earlier this is worth like $150. I was wrong. It's worth $121.50. Either way, it's worth monies. I will buy a fresh lighter though. I'll buy a fresh lighter and a bottle of water. I'll leave it now. Go away before it tempts me further. Head out. That was kind of cool though. New area. To Core City. Oh, I can't click it though. I can't click it. Oh well. Let's head out so I can die 2 moments from leaving here.